Today, in Wesley's Tasty Kitchen, we're having Tex-Mex tonight. It's Friday night here, and we either do pizza or Tex-Mex usually on Friday night. Sometimes we change up a little bit, but it's usually one of those two. Last week we did pizza, so this week we're doing Tex-Mex. So I'm not on camera. You'll see a part of me on camera today. But you see some of the ingredients to make the homemade salsa for starters. And we're gonna be making refried beans and some pork, tortilla, carnitas. But as you can see, I'm showing both a can of diced tomatoes and fresh Roma tomatoes. I'm probably just gonna use the fresh Romas and chop them up in my food processor. And we'll be going through the rest of it. It's getting easier than homemade salsa. You can do it either in a blender or a food processor. I'm using my KitchenAid food processor today. It has a little more capacity, a little more room, a little more power, even though I have a Vitamix blender. But as you see in here, we have the Roma tomatoes whole. I cut up 1.5 onion. They were kind of small onions. We've got a whole fresh jalapeno and some pickled jalapenos in there because I like it medium spicy. And today, instead of, normally I use garlic salt or a garlic blend, but I'm going with this stuff on camera. A lot of people use this. It's got garlic, and I tasted it, white pepper, so it's got a little bit of kick, and it's got a really good flavor. It's got some other ingredients in it as well. Here, I'll get it on camera so we can see the other ingredients. But I think this is gonna be plenty of salt for what I need to do. I'll taste it with a spoon after I get there. But gonna put probably about 2 teaspoons worth. That's probably about 1.5 teaspoons. I'll put a little bit more, 2 teaspoons worth. And just gonna mix this up kind of roughly. Get my blender together, or my food processor. Use the pulse button, hold it down. We'll see if the tomatoes put out enough juice for this. I think they will. It's pretty dry. What's wrong with tomatoes? It's pretty dry. Let me just taste this. Whoops, didn't mean to hit the camera. Clumsy me. Okay, needs a little bit more of a seasoning. Okay, while I was off camera, I added about 2 more teaspoons. So it's about a total of 4 teaspoons that needed a little bit more seasoning. I'm also gonna add a little bit, about probably a teaspoon of cumin. That is not a spice that's in there. And we're gonna try it again. I also added a little bit of more jalapenos and a little bit of the juice from the jalapenos, the pickled jalapenos. Just to give this a little more. Now it's got flavor. Not too salty, just about right. It's coming together very well. Because I like my sauce a little on the juicier side, and these Roma tomatoes are so dry, I'm adding 1 14.5 ounce can of diced tomatoes with the juice. There's no artificial colors or anything. This is just the tomatoes. But I just want this more for the liquids than anything else, since the Romas are so dry that I just want to get a little bit more liquid in there. Sometimes, like I said, I just make this with diced tomatoes, canned tomatoes. Now it's looking like it's coming together. It's looking like a good salsa. Yep, just got a big piece of jalapeno that I see needs to still be chopped up. Hope you got it there. Nobody wants a big piece of chop. Oh yeah, now that'll refrigerate for about a couple hours for dinner. It'll be perfect with our Tex-Mex night. Tonight for Tex-Mex night, we're having pinto beans, refried beans, pinto refried beans, Instant Pot. So Just to show you in the pot, I have 3 cups of rinsed pinto beans, 1.5 onions, they're about medium-sized onions, and 1 jalapeno roughly chopped up. And the onion's very roughly chopped up. It'll cook up a lot in this pressure cooking thing. What we're gonna do is we're gonna cover this and then we're gonna season it up with some mixture of chicken stock. Okay, we're getting ready to add the liquid, the stock, and the water. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cover it about 1 inch over. This container is 32 ounces, but I'm not gonna quite use it all. I'm going to just about when it reaches the top. And then I'm gonna add some water, just some plain water. And I'm going about the other inch over. So you could just use all stock or all water. I think the stock adds a little bit of extra flavor. And we're going to now, we're not gonna add this seasoning yet because it has too much sodium in it. We'd rather add the sodium and the salt after we've cooked them to taste. We're gonna start with a little bit of cumin, about a teaspoonful. And we're gonna use some granulated garlic, probably about a teaspoon, maybe about a teaspoon and a half of it. And some bay leaves as well. We're gonna put a couple of bay leaves in there and we'll dish them out at the end. I think we'll put 3 bay leaves in there. Actually, it's 2 and a small one. About 2.5 bay leaves in there. And I'm gonna just put, this is not very high sodium. This is taco seasoning. I'm just gonna put maybe about a tablespoon of it in there. So for extra flavor. And then we're gonna set our lid on the pressure, which mine is. Hit the pressure button. And we're gonna go for 45 minutes on high pressure. And then we're gonna do about a 15-minute natural release after that. So it's set to go off now. And see you in with the pressure release, probably about an hour. Okay, it's been the 45 minutes and the 15 minutes for the pressure release time, natural release, and just getting the rest of the pressure out right now. We're gonna open the pot. It might be a little soupy. We're gonna reserve some of that soup. It's not too bad. It's a little on the soupy side, but that's okay. That's expected. We're going to, first I should have pulled these bay leaves up that are on top first before I stir them in. So I've got those, that's my 3 bay leaves, 2 and one small one. So I've got that. I'm just gonna blend, the jalapenos are pretty well cooked up. The onions, some of them are in big pieces, but they're gonna get blended up. We're gonna be using an emulsion blender. I'm gonna go drain this off and be right back. I drained off the excess liquid, which we'll be using probably most of this. I don't like them, I like them thick, but not runny, but not super thick. And I like them smooth, not too chunky. So we'll be adding most of that back. I have my emulsion blender hooked up now. And I tasted them and they definitely need some seasoning. I remember I didn't put any salt on them when we started. So now I'm gonna add the adobo all-purpose seasoning from Goya. And wow, a little bit with a finger. One more. Up. Yep, now we're right. Okay. Now I'm gonna add probably about half of this liquid to see how it goes that I had. And I'm gonna use my emulsion blender to get it down so I don't have a problem. It's a pretty deep pot, as the pot is. And as I said, I like them pretty smooth. Some people like them chunky, however you like them. I don't think we'll need the extra liquid. Just half is more than enough. They will thicken up some. They will absorb some of that liquid when they sit for a while. But I think we are looking good. I'll be putting these in a bowl and show them to you shortly. Now I'm starting the pork carnitas for tonight. I'm browning the pork. I'm using pork chops because they were on sale. They're going to get tender in the Instant Pot anyway. You can use pork shoulder, pork butt, almost any pork you want. But since these were on sale, they're lean and they're perfect enough for me, for our family. So I've seasoned them up with a little bit of this and a little bit of the blend, which is salt, pepper, and garlic. So just going to brown them on both sides. Okay, my pork is now coming together. It's getting a little color on it. Just get a little extra flavor. And I'm going to go ahead and put in the onion just to be with it. Like I said, it's a very rough chop. I'm now turning off the saute function. And I'm squeezing in one whole orange, half at a time. Okay, now I'm going to put in about 1 cup chicken stock, just to have some liquid, more liquid for the Instant Pot. I'm going to add a little bit of taco seasoning, about a tablespoon. I'm going to add some bay leaves, 2 bay leaves. 1, 2, okay, and a little bit of cumin as well, about a teaspoonful of cumin. And let's see, oh, I also wanted to add some oregano. I need to find that. Give me 1 second. Okay, I found my oregano. I knew I had a new thing of it. The dried oregano I had run out. So I'm adding that now. Some oregano. And maybe a little more cracked black pepper to this as well. And just to kick up, I'm not using fresh garlic today. I did have a little garlic inside of the spread oven. Just put a little pure ground garlic as well. And now we're going to put the lid on. Make sure it's set the pressure. Do it to pressure cook. I'm going to go 40 minutes. If this was a bigger pieces of pork, like pork shoulder or pork butt, I'd be going 45 at least, but with these smaller pieces, 40 is gonna be fine. And we'll be back. Okay, it's been the 40 minutes, plus about a 5-minute natural release, and I just let the rest of the pressure out, and it's finishing up before the pin drops, so I can open the pot. And then we'll take the pork out and we'll put it on this platter that I have here, and then I will be pulling it apart. There, the pin just dropped. So the way it looks right now, it's very tender. It's falling apart on my fork, falling into pieces, as I knew it would. Yeah, can't even pick it up with a fork. It's just, I have to scoop under it. It's so tender. Definitely gonna make good pulled pork. I might have to get I think I'm gonna have to change to a slotted spoon. Okay, I have one right here. Fork's not gonna work. It's too pork tender. So take it out with a slotted spoon. We're gonna reserve some of those juices. We've got a lot of flavor in there. As I said, we don't need a lot for dinner, so that's why I didn't need a big pork butt or anything. Need more. This, there's going to be 4 of us eating, and when you shred it apart and eat it on the tortilla and put in all the toppings, it goes a long ways. So stay tuned, and I'll be pulling it apart in just a minute. Okay, we have the pork here, and I have on some nitrate gloves, where I'm just gonna put cotton liners underneath it. I feel a little warm, but it's not burning me. And it's really hot, so it just feels warm. With the cotton liners underneath these nitrate gloves. This is how I do pulled pork. When it comes off my Traeger, or I usually do that on the Traeger now. I used to have a Kamado Joe, but in the spring I got me a Traeger, more for the slow cook. Do more grilling with the Kamado Joe. We'll have some videos on that, but you do some slow cooks as well. Here we're just pulling all the pork apart, shredding it real good, and it's ready to go.